correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is boring. See, we got on the wrong stupid boat. What are we doing?
Remember this, if he ever asks you to go on vacation with him, say no.
This is exactly like what we did yesterday.
Tell him where they have a sticker set? Yeah, I've got to see where it is or what it's like.
We're in Alexandria Bay, that's very okay.
Well, it's not good for castle admission.
What,
the castle
Dad?
is $2.75 a piece.
What?
How did it feel?
How did what feel? How did what feel?
That boat ride, you're not on a boat.
I felt sick and embarrassed and hot, tired, and bored. That
How
about
about-
covers it.
How about you, Lynn?
This is very embarrassing.
I'm having a great time
Good, me too.
because I'm with my family, and that's really what is truly important.
Yeah,
here.
because we're gonna get to do what you want to do.
This little,
Like
see
go
this
on the
little darling
crafts.
child, she's just a sweetie.
Well, yeah, that's because you're having fun because you're gonna do it. Ow! I'll bite you. Here, we gotta do what you want to do. Like.
Stands on today. A little later on in your tour, you'll hear a little bit more about Mr. Noble and his endeavors. He legalized the infant facility in New York State in 1922. First down shortly after it was built by a tiny Indian arrow. Now around 1979, the village of Alexandria Bay purchased Casino Island, made part of its municipal park. By the Syracuse. Coming up towards the hereditary island here is Winley Lodge, owned by Mr. Donald Hasseltine, Canandaigua, New York. Mr. Hasseltine spends most of his winter months in Florida, most of his summer months here in Alexandria Bay. Today has the best of both worlds. Owned by Mrs. A.G. Baird, she's the great-granddaughter and the last living relative of Mr. George Bull, builder of Bull's Castle. Hopewell Hall has been in the Bull family for many generations. See, this is Hopewell Hall here to our left-hand side. The island coming up on our left here towards the front of the boat is Castle Restaurant Pullman Island, formerly owned by Mr. George Pullman, invented a very famous style Pullman sleeping or railroad car. Unfinished or unoccupied Bull's Castle. Started in 1900 by Mr. George Bull, owner and proprietor of the Waldorf Astoria in New York, the Bellevue Stratford in Philadelphia. He started this castle in 1900 here, with the love of his wife. Construction ceased in 1904 upon the sudden death of his wife, Louise. By that time, he told all the workers at Hart Island at Bull's Castle to leave and never return again. Now, after he started construction of the large and beautiful castle, the water level was just a little bit higher here. He said he did not love his mother-in-law all that much, and there's a rumor going around the Thousand Islands region that she was a very deep sleepwalker. I guess this probably would have cured her. Now, the Bolt's Castle. You can see the large stone heart at the top of the Arch of Honor. Next on our left here is the Ulster Tower and Children's Playhouse, a replica of the Ulster Tower on the Rhine River in Germany. The main structure on Hart Island never be finished, furnished, or lived in. Bull spent a couple summers here while awaiting the finishing of Bull's Castle. There's a small billiards room, bowling alley, drama theater, dining and leisure facilities, as well as sleeping quarters in the Ulster Tower. Now approaching the main structure, Bull's Castle is a 5-story structure, 120 rooms. The first floor was the social area of the castle, the top 4 floors were set up in suites. A small elevator running up the center of the castle, and a small swimming pool in the basement. Also says that there are 365 windows in the castle, one for each day of the year. Now if you notice the tunnel system running away from the castle, trolley car baggage car system, where the luggage will hold through the guest room and pass up through to the castle while sitting here at Hart Island. The final structure at Hart Island is the tower house at the end of the island there. Once housed 2 large steam generators and Walter Clock and China Tower. Gutted by fire in 1938, was hit by a small skyrocket in the run during a celebration of the Thousand Islands Bridge system opening. Today, it's owned by the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority, a non-profit organization of New York State. It's been placed under a 20-year, $20 million renovations program. And all admissions for folks that wish to go into the castle, later on in your tour, towards the end, you'll have a chance to stop at Hart Island Bull's Castle. Tour this large and beautiful castle if you wish. Now the brown building's coming up on our right-hand side here, the Bonnie Castle Manor, owned by Mr. Don Cole, owner of the Cole Muffler Companies of Pennsylvania, New York. Now if you notice the green buoy coming up on our left-hand side, this is to mark a shoal here in the St. Lawrence. Approximately 4,000 to 5,000 shoals in this area alone. That's why we... Those of you that just boarded here in Ivy League, welcome aboard the Uncle Sam 7 of the Uncle Sam Ivy League Boat Tours for your 2.5-hour two-nation tour of the Thousand Islands region. Now your captain today is Captain Charles Scott. Back in our concession down below we have Tom. My name's Troy, and I'll be your tour guide today. The United States and Canadian Coast Guard regulations instruct us we must show you how to get a life jacket caught up in a chair, how to take it out of the chair, where they're located. After you do that much, you got to pull the flak strap around your back. Very important part, you must not get the microphone cord caught in the strap. You'll have serious problems. Now after you get that point done, you simply clip it at the metal hook, and you're all set. Now if you do not clip this metal hook, of course if you ever have to go in the water, if the boat's sinking, of course it never will be, but if it is, if you do not hook it, then the life jacket will float, but I'm afraid you will not. Therefore it'll be useless, so I hope you can swim. But if you can, I do suggest you do clip that hook. It's very important. Got its name because it's formerly owned by the owner, or editor I should say, of Field and Stream magazine of Ohio. Thus it got its name, Field and Stream Island. Now I do ask for those of you that just came on board that if you do wish to smoke, please smoke in the open areas, either on the aft deck down below there, or up above here in the open area. Now coming up on our right here is Ash Island. At the head of Ash Island here, the point of land coming up on our right, is termed the Fiddler's Elbow. Got its name because during the steamship era here in the St. Lawrence, during the late 1800s and 1900s, early 1900s, a blind gentleman named Chauncey Patterson used to stand out at the end of the Fiddler's Elbow here and play his fiddle. He'd have a blanket laid across the end of the Fiddler's Elbow there, and as the steamships would pass by, the passengers upon them would try to throw coins out onto the blanket for Chauncey. Every once in a while they'd miss, the coin would go in the water. Poor old Chauncey, he'd have to throw down his fiddle and jump in after them. That's another one of Tom's jokes down there upstairs in the concession there. You want to go down and bother him about it. Anyways, coming up on our right-hand side here, the island with the green and white navigation lanes, Paradise Island. Well, a young lady from Kingston, Ontario, Canada, purchased a $10 raffle ticket some years back in goodwill for a hospital in the area. So all the proceeds went to the hospital. And the young lady won Paradise. Anyways, while we're moving along here, nice. We're moving along here very rapidly. The island off to our left here is Dashwood Island. As we come towards the foot of Dashwood Island, you'll see the very large and beautiful Opawaka Lodge. Opawaka is Indian and means swift water. Oh, please, not again. Anyways, Opawaka is Indian and means swift water. A doctor from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, recently purchased this home in Dashwood Island. Purchased it for around $600,000. Had it appraised immediately after he purchased it. It was appraised at over $2 million for Opawaka Lodge in Dashwood Island. You can see it's a very large and beautiful home, also called the Home of the Seven Gables, located on Dashwood Island, probably one of the largest and most beautiful homes here on the Canadian side of the St. Lawrence in this area. Now this whole Thousand Islands region here is termed Manitowana by the local Indians of the area. Manitowana, Indian, it means Garden of the Great Spirit. The Indians in the area believe that one day, upon their death, they'd return to an area exactly like the area you're in today. Therefore, this area here is all sacred, approximately 400 feet high there, owned and operated by the Canadian government. Accessible by either car or boat there, Hill Island and Thousand Island Sky Deck. There's an elevator running up the center of the tower or sky deck. The spiral staircase around the outside is for emergency use only. Well, this precious piece of real estate coming up on our left-hand side. To be considered an island, you must do two things. Stay above the water level 365 days a year, and have at least 2 trees. As you can see, Town Thumb here just barely made it. Nice piece of property for anyone who would like to build a large summer home in the area. It's probably presently for sale, or will be soon. Now this whole area here is termed the Lost Channel. Got its name because during the French and Indian War in the area, a British war vessel out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, not Montreal, excuse me, Kingston, Ontario, Canada, guided by the late Lord Geoffrey Amherst of the British Royal Navy, was passing through this section here. They were attacked by a hostile band of Huron Indians. Now the ship sank somewhere in the area around here. The wreckage or the remains of the vessel were never found. None of the crew or the military personnel upon the ship was never seen again. Thus it got the name the Lost Channel. Now if you're on any one of the larger vessels here in the area, you can kind of go to the right-hand side here. The wider, deeper channel. Vessels run much deeper here. Since you're on a boat that runs shallower in the water, it's a little bit narrower. Pass through the narrower, more scenic channels. Now this island off to our left here is Anchor Island. Anchor Island gets its name because from an aerial view, it looks similar in shape to an anchor. Today it's owned by Mr. Mike Bresnahan of Watertown, New York. Again, that's Anchor Island. About to pass under the rainbow span of the bridge system. This is the fourth of the 5-span bridge system, opened up in 1938. Took only 2 years to build. It was built for under $10 million. I don't think you can try and do that this time. There. Quite a few stories that do flow up and down the St. Lawrence River here amongst the islanders in the area. Well, like just a point or a rock leaning over the water here is called the Drinking Bear because from a certain angle it does look like a drinking bear. See that point of rock? Once we get in front of it though, it has to be at just the right angle, and it does look like a drinking bear there. It actually does, yes. The island on our right here is Sunset Island. One time housed a very large and beautiful restaurant for boaters in the area. Destroyed by fire some years back. Today it's owned by a group of gentlemen from Fisher's Landing, New York, and they use it as kind of their own private getaway. They bring their families and friends in here on the weekends. Now fire in the area is a very dangerous thing because by the time the fire is spotted and the officials get to the scene, the structures are pretty much destroyed. The only thing the firemen can do is keep the fire from spreading. Now the 3 local fire boats in the area, I believe I've told somebody this already in our tour, or the last chance to know. We're now traveling back downstream down the Canadian Channel. This time, many of the points of interest for those of you that started your tour in Alexandria Bay have been pointed out to you. So I'll take this few minutes here to take a little break and allow you to enjoy the natural beauty here in the St. Lawrence. To answer any questions that you might have. So if I'm walking towards the back of the boat. Now the island previously, before the Zavacon Island group, was Pine Island. Owned by Mr. John Keats, a freelance writer for such magazines as Holiday and Ocean. People, and I waved to them, and they turned their backs to me. I don't know why. Probably just because I said they were friendly people, but most people here in the region are very, well, not almost anything, not everything needed, but many things. Help you out in any way possible. Usually Florida or North Carolina, some states like that. It's very warm. Pretty much only the base or bulk of the population is left over. Now the island coming up here on our right-hand side is Steamboat Island. Got its name because during the steamboat era here in the St. Lawrence, late 1800s, early 1900s, served as a steamboat reef ice here in the winter months and stack it on Steamboat Island. So when the shipping season opened here in the St. Lawrence. The large steamers that pull up to the dock here at Steamboat Island. The dock's now gone, but there was a dock that spanned the length of the island. The steamers that pull up next to the dock take on all the wood needed for their large steam engines to be on their way either up or down the St. Lawrence. Now this green home coming up on our right here on Steamboat Island is the original home. Now if you look towards the head of Steamboat Island there, you'll see a very small island with a small brown summer home on it. This is Tugboat Island. Probably the only really interesting thing about Tugboat Island is the home itself. The home was built on the mainland U.S. A few winters back, the home was built and was dragged across the ice on the St. Lawrence and placed on its frame on Tugboat Island. Now the final group of islands we'll be seeing today is the Manhattan Island group connected by the white footbridges here. First purchased by Mr. Seth Green in the early Manhattan Island group. So we're now heading into the $2.5 million unfinished and unoccupied Bolles Castle, started by the owner and proprietor of the Waldorf Astoria in New York City and the Bellevue Stratford in Philadelphia. I started in 1900 in love with his wife. Construction ceased in 1904 upon the death of his wife Louise. Now at that point, he spent the rest of his summers up here in his house now. Never returned to Hard Island or Bolles Castle. Spent all of his time in any one of 4 mansions or farms. He had 2 farms and 4 mansions located on Wellesley Island. Well, after Mr. Bolles died, it was taken up by a number of tourist companies or looking to charge admissions to tour the castle. They never really kept up the castle, paid any money to keep it up, renovate it, anything of this nature, so it pretty much was let slide. Until 1977, when the Thousand Islands Bridge Authority bought it from $1 from the Edward John Noble Foundation. At that point, they put it under a 20-year, $20 million renovation program, which is still underway today. Now, if you wish to at this time, when we dock at Bolles Castle on Hard Island, you may get off here and tour the castle. Here's to get off here. The last boat of the day for Ivy League will be at 4:45. Give you half an hour at the castle about. It'll be locked and you have a Bolles Castle ferry running back and forth from Hard Island every half hour, a quarter of and quarter after the hour. Therefore, if you wish to get off the castle, you may tour it, stay as long as you like, and catch any one of those ferry boats back to Alexandria Bay. One thing I do ask, however, is that when we dock at Hard Island and Bolles Castle, you please stay seated, because the United States Customs officials will be coming up, once again, on board the boat, and they will be going through all the passengers and checking your citizenship. If you're American or Canadian citizen, all you have to do is say so, and they'll pass on to the next passengers. If you are other than American or Canadian citizen and wish to get off at the castle here, you must have your passport, visas, MasterCard, whatever you have, out and ready to show them. Or if you do not have your MasterCard, Visa, all you have to do is say so, and they'll move on to the next passenger. Once again, on behalf of the captain, Uncle Sam, Ivy League Boat Tours. Thank you.
You didn't show me how to focus it, Dad.
We're just there and Mom. We're going to the castle of ours.
for 70 years this thing was left on the island with nothing.
A bug just flew in my hair, a big bee, and it stuck in my forehead right here. And get my mouth. Get the inside. Film the inside
No,
of my
don't
mouth.
get me.
Dad, can you film the inside of my mouth?
No. Yeah, it looks familiar. Not very often though. They got a Connie.
Trying to lead us around in circles. I think we should split up. Why don't you two go that way? This is in the basement. The castle. Well, let's go look for it.
I know where it is.
Well, let's go down there and see what's down here.
Where? I saw it. You guys, I go, come here, I want to ask what this is. Now, shut up.
Just now?
Yes.
Oh. Well, don't film. Come on.
Go on, Dad.
I gotta show where we ended up at. People are gonna be curious when they see this film. Okay. Hey, do you know what this is gonna be like? Al Capone's cave.
Stop.
No, cricket.
Daddy, can I film with that now?
No.
Oh, come, Dad.
Please let me film, please.
No.
Why, Dad?
You think it's heaven.
I can film. Come on, Dad. I want to film. Please. Please. Please, Dad. Please.
Here we are in the cave, the castle. Let's see, am I going slow enough?
Yeah.
Dad, go film that Lillian King thing.
Yeah, their stairs too long. It says. There they are.
Okay, Liz, explain where we're at.
We're at Bolt's Castle. And we're up at the observation part of it.
Ships go.
How could someone just let something like this much money, this much finished rat? We should have planned more days. The muscle in my calf starts going like this. Come on, Dad. Let's finish, Dad.
Too bad they left this.